Well, hi again, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of In the Paint, brought to you by Dr. Karen Kramer, your hometown dentist in Grafton and Elyria. And, of course, a little bit later on, we'll have our Janasco Insurance Player of the Week, brought to you by Janasco Insurance. Tim Alcorn, Matt Douglass from AM 930 WEOL. No Bruce Bishop this week. he's being a little bit shy this week.
That's all right. I'm sure, we're almost in February. Perhaps he's getting ready for Groundhog's Day, the big celebration that is over in Punxsutawney with Punxsutawney Phil. I don't know why that's where my mind took me, but Bruce seems like a guy who'd get into that.
I think he would enjoy that immensely. Hopefully these In the Paint shows aren't the same show over and over and over again. Hopefully these In the Paint shows aren't the same show over and over and over again. All right, well, you mentioned February right around the corner. Here we are in mid to late January, depending upon when you're watching this. And while the weather is getting colder, boy, Matt, some teams are heating up in Lorain County. We've got some boys basketball teams that are riding some nice winning streaks.
Yeah, we absolutely are, Tim. And I've been paying a lot of attention to the SWC and what's going on over there because Midview right now is running one heck of a hot streak, winning 3 of their last 4 games. 2 of those games have come against the conference's top teams, Olmsted Falls and Lakewood, 2 teams many people thought would be battling it out for the conference championship at the end of the year. Midview's changed that all up with those victories. Lakewood now with 1 loss on the season in the SWC, that to Midview. Old Falls now with a pair of losses, so that's opened this conference right up with the way Midview's playing right now.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun back half as far as the SWC is concerned. Other teams that have put together either mild winning streaks or pretty impressive winning streaks. The 2 teams in Elyria, as far as boys basketball, Elyria High and Elyria Catholic have each won 2 in a row. Those are 2 big wins for EC. Yeah. They had been struggling. So for Elyria Catholic, of course, led by Jared Logan and the like, they needed those 2 wins, and Rob Palmer's team were able to rack them up.
Yeah, without a doubt. Elyria Catholic's one of those teams. You can't look at what their overall schedule says about them or what their record is, what I mean to say, because their schedule is one of the toughest you're going to see in Northeast Ohio. So they're playing some good basketball at the right time right now, and I think as they move forward to the playoffs, they're only going to pull a few more wins down.
And you mentioned Midview, 3 out of 4. They're playing very good ball. Those wins over the Bulldogs and the Rangers, the Lakewood Rangers, 2 huge wins. And then we got a couple of teams, actually a few teams, that have put together some real nice winning streaks. North Ridgeville, the Rangers, they've won 6 in a row. Good job by Brian Morgan and his staff over there. And then at Columbia and Open Door, they each are sporting 7-game winning streaks.
Those are some very, very good streaks for obvious reasons. North Ridgeville, a lot of people talked about Jeremy Sanchez beginning of the year being that true passing point guard. Right now, he's one of the top scorers in the county, averaging about 16 points a game. So that's made him that much scarier this year and is obviously one of the reasons North Ridgeville is having the success they are. For Columbia, Adam Ross has been tremendous. Brandon Coleman, Bailey Coleman. I mean, they've got one of the best starting 5s you're going to see in the county. And obviously the reason they continue to have success all year in Open Door. They're just a fun team to watch. Trey Brooks, Bublenik on there, yep. Cardinal Wright, yeah. So, it's an all-around pretty solid squad there for those 3 teams.
We had Columbia last Friday night on WEOL, and Brandon Coleman is a man out there on the basketball floor. Of course, we talked about him basically each and every week during our football videos. But I'll tell you what, he's a tremendous high school basketball player. So Columbia, huge game this Friday night. They take on the Fairview Warriors.
Yeah, they're going to be tested in the days coming up here. Fairview, obviously, that top team in the Patriot Athletic Conference. Haven't been knocked off much this year. Did have 1 loss to Buckeye. So a lot of people probably look into the film, seeing if they can't figure that out. But boy, that Fairview team is a team that can score, and they can score quickly. So you got to watch out for them.
All right, Matt, let's talk about our Janasco Insurance Players of the Week. Again, Players of the Week brought to you by Janasco Insurance, right there on Broadway in Lorain. I'll start things off this week on the boys' side of things. Not a lot of debate. This young man at Midview High School has had a 2-game stretch that young men dream about. So when they're little guys playing in the driveway and now out there playing varsity basketball. Johnny Manning of Midview. Friday night, Midview on the road over at Olmsted Falls. Tie game, waning seconds. Midview has to throw a long inbounds pass. It actually gets deflected. Johnny Manning somehow is able to grab the errant pass. All he has time to do is turn around and shoot. Swish. Game winner for Midview. So a great moment for Johnny Manning. But then he's not done. He comes back on Tuesday night. Midview, as you alluded to earlier, playing the top team in the SWC in Lakewood. Midview pulls the huge upset. They knock off the Lakewood Rangers. Johnny Manning on Tuesday night. How about this line? 20 points, 7 rebounds, steps up to the free throw line and goes 10 of 11. So the game-winning shot in a huge performance on Friday night, big-time performance on Tuesday night. And Johnny Manning was going up against that huge Lakewood team. They're tall. And he was kind of playing in the low block as far as offensively and defensively in a zone. Did a great job. Johnny Manning, that's my Janasco Insurance Player of the Week.
Yeah, I don't think anyone could argue about that with the performance he had in those last 2 games. Again, taking on top-tier teams in the SWC. Tim, for my Janasco Insurance Player of the Week, I've had this one in my pocket here for the last few weeks. Jalen Gibbs has been performing tremendously for the Wellington Dukes all season. Recently, Alexis Lemkool fell out of the lineup against Columbia on Saturday. We had the opportunity to call that game, and Ozzy Zoltai did that. But Jalen Gibbs had a big 18-point night to give the Wellington Dukes that victory over Columbia. They're now 7-1 in Patriot Athletic Conference play. Seem like a favorite to possibly claim that conference title at the end of the season. A big part of it is her play right now with one of their big-time players out.
Great job. So again, those are our Janasco Insurance Players of the Week. Now, we know there's some threatening weather in the forecast for this weekend. So depending upon when you're watching this edition of In the Paint, maybe that forecast will be dead on accurate and we're going to be looking at a lot of snow. Or maybe, like some weather forecast, it's way off base. And we're going to have basketball played all weekend long. So, Matt, if the weather cooperates, we've got a busy weekend ahead right here on WEOL.
Yeah, we absolutely do. We've got some great basketball coming up on Friday night. Midview taking on Avon Lake. 2 teams. Avon Lake actually just coming up short on Tuesday night in a good game against Olmsted Falls. Lost that one by 2. Their team looking to rebound from that loss. We talked about how good Midview's playing. I'm looking forward to seeing how that one goes on Friday night. Saturday morning, Tim, I get the opportunity. This is an early tip-off. 12:15 is the slated start time as Elyria hosts Oberlin in girls basketball. I've got the call on that one. 2 teams that have had a bit of a rough time this season, but 2 teams that are looking to get back in those win columns and finish the season strong. So should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to calling that one.
And then again, Saturday night, unless we're just snowed under and they call it off, but let's hope they play. The city of Lorain will come out in full force. It'll be Clearview and Lorain Saturday night over at the Titan Gym. Of course, Lorain is just having a sensational year. Had a big win last Friday night against Cleveland Heights. This will be their first game since that win over Cleveland Heights on Friday. So they'll have an 8-day layoff. Clearview going with a little bit of roster alterations, I guess we could say. So, but it's always a great turnout. Both schools and both communities are fully supported. So we'll see how big of a house they get on Saturday night over at Lorain. And, of course, 2 teams that, as we mentioned, are having pretty good seasons as well.
Without a doubt, 2 teams, again, are still in the running for their conference title. Lorain obviously playing very well. Devon Grant, a tremendous player. I mean, he leads the county in scoring, hitting about 30 points a game this season. He's got tremendous guys backing him out. Number of players in double-digit averages. Clearview led by Javon Todd, who was the Stripes Division co-MVP last year. So you're going to see some great basketball over in Lorain.
No doubt. So let's hope the weather cooperates for all the games, not just the WEOL games, but for all the games that are on the docket for Friday night for the guys, and then on Saturday afternoon and evening for the girls, and, of course, some non-conference action on Saturday night. All right, man, I think that's going to do it.
Sounds good to me, Tim. Let's bundle up, make sure the snow doesn't hit us before we get out of here.
All right, sounds good. Many people to thank as far as this week's edition of In the Paint is concerned. Again, a thank you to our sponsors, Dr. Karen Kramer in Grafton and Elyria, and Jim Janasco and Janasco Insurance on Broadway in Lorain. Bruce Bishop, bashful this week, just behind the camera, but Bruce, thanks to you. Matt Douglass, thanks to you. Biggest thanks goes to you, the viewers. We hope you enjoyed it. And until next week's edition of In the Paint, so long, everybody.